What's up, everybody? Today, I wanted to bring up a topic that I've been really thinking about these past few days, and that is the topic of Gen Z, my generation. And a lot of people don't realize is that a lot of us, yeah, we don't have jobs, like blah 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 blah, right? And people call us lazy because we don't want to work. But as I'm I did some research and I'm kind of understanding why Gen Z are being called lazy and why we don't want to work. So, if I pull up this article right here, young people are being priced out of their lives they pictured for themselves. Many Gen Zers born between 1997 and 2012 are racking up debt and fear adult milestones such as becoming homeowners and having children are out of reach. Generation Z is deeply concerned about the feasibility of achieving lives they envision. Rising costs of living, tuition fees, and unstable job market have made milestones like homeownership, financial independence, and even career stability seem more out of reach than ever before. And that one, well, not tuition fees because I don't go to college, but these two specifically have really hit home to me because my girlfriend was at her nana's house and her nana told her because she was telling her about how we're struggling with our bills, and her nana looks at her and says, "Well, when I was 17, I was able to buy my own house and a car, but." And my girlfriend looks at her and says, "Whoa, the fucking candy bar? Your house was the price of a fucking lollipop." And now, like, I work a job and I make 21.75 an hour, and I can barely survive. Like, as a group, they have roughly 30% more credit card debt than millennials did at their age, even after inflation. TransUnion data shows they are also the most likely cohort to max out credit cards and become delinquent on payments, New York Fed data shows. Now, this is true. I want to say, about $476 on my credit card, but with all my bills, I can't afford to pay any of it. So I'm just stuck in debt. Alyssa, the general manager and chief experience officer of K-Bank owned Laurel Road, a digital banking platform, said uncertainty about repaying student loan debt is having long-term implication on young people's financial milestones. Of the 1,714 U.S. adults with private or federal student loans surveyed, 79% said they struggle to save for emergencies or retirement. 75% said they couldn't invest. 52% said they couldn't afford to buy a home. And 35% said they were delaying having children. Most respondents were aged 25 to 44, while responses were collected from ages 18 to 65 plus. This one's called Locked Out. Owning a home feels painfully out of reach for many young Americans. Census data shows homeownership rates dropped from almost 44% in 2004 to 37% this past fall, and the percentage of adult children ages 25 to 34 still living at home climbed from under 11% in the early 2000s to 16% in 2023. That's at least partly a function of home prices ranging to record levels and mortgage rates surging to two-decade highs. Now, this whole paragraph really hits me hard because my cousin is a really hard worker. He works construction, making like $30 an hour, and he makes so much money selling shit on eBay, and yet he still cannot afford a house. That's just mind blowing. How can you make so much money and still not afford a house? People taking longer to partner up and have kids can choke the population and economic growth, he said. Those who cannot afford a home are missing out on a reliable wealth building strategy that underpins overall demand in the economy. Pricing out people also prevents them from moving across the country to where the labor is most valued at. They may also have fewer to no children and similar retirement savings. And this is crazy because I remember I saw an article or a YouTube video that was literally titled "Gen Z are being priced out of the country." And that's crazy to me because the US has so many jobs, but yet my generation, we still can't afford shit. Like, and yet my generation is being priced out of their own fucking country. Basically, to summarize it, is what I'm trying to like. What I'm getting from this is that Gen Z, they're having dreams of all these lavish lifestyles, but they can't even maintain a low income lifestyle. And I think to wrap this up, my final thoughts is Gen Z isn't actually lazy. They just they can't afford nothing, so they have refused to work. If something isn't done about these prices or wages, I swear the US is gonna cease to exist. Number 3, there's not gonna be another generation because 80% are feeling priced out of homes, and most of them will look at that and be like, "Why do I wanna have a kid when I can't even afford my house?" So that's roughly 80% of people that are just not gonna start the next generation. The US is cooked. That's all. That's my final thoughts. I know I'm usually just a gaming YouTuber, but I wanted to bring this to you guys' attention because I can't stop thinking about it. I love y'all. Peace.